Welcome back, everyone. We are live from just outside Kansas City, Kansas today, and continuing our month focused on the military and the supporting groups of this arm of the government. We have today with us Barron Mills, who is going to be talking about his work with veteran-owned businesses. So it's something that we've been talking a lot about in the Pentagon, which is how do we help our service members transition out of full-time active duty or reserve duty service and into the civilian marketplace. We now recognize that all individuals who serve in the military, no matter their rank, will come out in the future and get a job. And those vets need to find businesses that either they can work for, work with, or own themselves. And so we are learning a little bit more about how this can work to benefit everyone, not just our service members, but also America writ large. So we are about to bring him on. He's just joined us, and we'll be adding and connecting him in just a second. Welcome, sir. How are you?
I'm good. Just getting on.
Good. So, so I've just been able to give a introduction to what it is that we're doing, and actually I will bring you up to speed a little bit as well. We are focused this month entirely on military, and I know you've done a lot of work, and you're leading the efforts in Florida, in fact, with veteran-owned businesses. And so we want to hear a little bit about your background and how you got to where you are today, and if you can give us a little teaser as to what you're looking forward to in the near future.
Okay, yeah. So we can just hit one little nugget and spend a whole hour on it and so forth. So I'll try to keep things as brief as possible, make sure we hit all the different areas we want to. So I did 20 years in the Marine Corps, retired about 3 years ago. So what, people don't realize it, but there is a military presence. It's a small one, but there is one in Orlando, Florida. And I found out about this about halfway through my career when I was stationed at Quantico, Virginia, and had to interact with some of the people out of Orlando. And so I knew it existed at least. And then fast forward, and my career is at a point where I kind of need to make some decisions about what's the best way to prepare myself for life after the Marine Corps. And that's basically I found out that there were spots open in Orlando. I kind of waited, timing was right, and I got stationed in Orlando. So I've been in Orlando area since 2011, and 3 years working in active duty. Then actually my last 22 months I got stationed down in Miami at a Marine Corps family in place because I knew I'd prefer to stay in Orlando for all the opportunities that are here. And then came back May of 2016, retired. Spent a year running a contract for the Marine Corps. I was doing a support services contract for the same unit I'd supported in uniform. And then about a little over 2 years ago, about that time, no, a little less than 2 years ago, I left that job and went off with the primary goal of, hey, let me be one of those consultants and just offer up my ideas and advice to anybody that's willing to pay for them. And I really, I kind of gave myself a financial cushion in doing that, which maybe was too much of a cushion. And it gave myself a lot of leeway in what I did with my time. And so I really dove into the veteran community in Orlando, and I wanted to find out who's doing what's working, what's not working, what do we think most of the problems are within the veteran community. And then some other things have happened and not happened that have led me into this role I have now since March. It's my primary role, and that's being the executive director for the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses, which is best just thought of as a chamber of commerce across Florida for veteran businesses.
Yeah, so a couple of point of order. Yeah, to put some emphasis on Orlando, there is quite a presence there. In fact, a lot of folks don't realize we have $12 billion that come into the I-4 corridor from the Department of Defense at the federal level alone. And we have a presence of all four branches. And then up till February, I was the lead for the Office of the Secretary of Defense there. So from Tampa to Patrick Air Force Base, we actually have a significant number of folks. And in the country, the state of Florida is second in the nation for and military families. So we are very pro-military and very active and very supportive, and I would also go so far as to say very protective. And so as and kind of what I introed with is that we recognize now that all military personnel, no matter their rank, no matter their branch, will transition out into a job. And so this has become
Right.
a real focus for the Department of Defense, is to ensure that the vets are able to find those positions or start their own companies. So tell us a little bit about how you are helping from an organizational perspective help people make those transitions and choose, do they want to work for someone else? Do they want to be a contractor, an independent consultant, or a business owner? I mean,
Right.
those are lots of choices.
Yeah, there are. So you threw out some things there. I'll go back to focusing on the piece about helping people figure out what they want to do after the transition. Because I will make a comment. There's plenty of controversy and debate about does the military do a good job or not preparing military members as they get out of the service. And I think because they've gotten a lot more support. And we can come back to this if you want, but my personal opinion of it is it's not on the military to get it right. The military's job is to go out and win wars and fight our battles and be ready. And making sure that people are getting ready for civilian jobs really kind of detracts from that mission. And so I think it's more on the veteran community for ourselves to put things in place to properly receive the military members as they leave. Can we make sure they get information sooner and better? Yes. But I still feel like it's really on the veteran community for us to fix the problem, not for the military, how to fight our wars while at the same time doing a better job of getting people out of the military into civilian jobs. So with that, then, if somebody's interested in business, becoming an independent contractor, self-employed, something like whether like a CPA or a lawyer, real estate agent, what the case is, then there's a lot of resources out there to help people start on that. I mean, you can get with any kind of chamber of commerce, whether it's like ours or if you just look in any metro area, you're going to find dozens of chambers of commerce. You're going to find them that are municipality driven, like a township or a city. Find them that are kind of ethnically driven, like African American Chamber of Commerce, Asian American, Hispanic American, Haitian American. They're all out there. And you can also have some that are women focused, veteran focused. One of the things to know with all these is even though they may have like a focus of the type of business owner that they're trying to support, anybody can join them usually. They're not exclusive. They're inclusive to everybody because they want to see everybody do well in business, but they're going to focus their advocacy or their education on a certain segment. So one of those things is to turn to them. There's also, especially in the veteran community, Syracuse University, their IVMF, the Institute for Veterans and Military Families, has a series of different programs, Boots to Business and DUIs and other things that are available to veterans to help them figure out, is owning the business the right thing for me, and if so, how do I do it? You've got bunker labs going up across the country. In Florida, they're going to be officially on September 26th. They're going to be hard launching Bunker Labs Tampa. So that's great news for us. And then we expect a series of one or two more to pop up in the state in the coming couple of years. You've also got Veterans Florida, which is a state-funded office out of Tallahassee. That one of their programs is entrepreneur program, and 2 cohorts a year across 6 different locations in the state. Veterans can go through some classes to help them figure out if they got the right idea, and if so, how do I now turn that idea into a business and so forth. So the FAVOB perspective, and that's the organization, the Florida Association of Veteran-Owned Businesses. That's how we, every good military veteran organization has an acronym. So we're FAVOB.
Yes.
What we try to do is we don't need to run those programs ourselves. There's already so many that exist. Also, the Small Business Association has Boots to Business Reboot, which are going on routinely around the state of Florida. We just need to vector you to those places so that you can get started with something really assist you. And then what we're more here for is growth. If you've got an established business with some stream of revenue and you want to figure out how do I maintain what I currently have and how do I build on it and grow it further, that's where being a partner with us, a member with FAVOB, will really help you out.
And how is it that you grow those businesses?
Well, so as a guy who hasn't built my own business yet, I'm gonna, kind of give you the way I see folks doing this stuff. But it's like everything's born out of relationships. I don't care if it's trying to get the job of your lifetime, the dream job, or landing that big deal. It's relationships. I mean, even landing certain government jobs and a lot of government contracts. Yeah, you've got to have things in the line. You got to have the resume that meets up. You got to have the contract proposal that matches up. But you're in competition with a lot of other people. So what makes you stand out, especially if it's not just the lowest price wins? What makes you stand out is relationships. Can that person trust you and count on you? Do they know that you're going to come through on your end with what you're promising to do? And so that's where I think most of the growth in business comes from, is building relationships. Because when you find somebody that you trust and they have the products and services you're looking for, then it's kind of easy to go from there. It's also the cases where sometimes maybe you don't have exactly what that person needs yet, but they know they can count on you to come through. And so they come to you and say, here's what I need. And then next thing you know, you got a business opportunity in front of you and so forth.
Yeah, I would agree. I suspect you are thinking, or at least I hope along the same lines I'm thinking, which is the trust factor. When it comes to military, we often trust factor. So I think they have a leg up in this arena. How do you use that to their advantage?
Well, yeah, so when we talk about trust, that's why we're trying to encourage more of the veteran community to interact together. And it's not so much that we can trust each other more, it's that a lot of people have a hard time relating to veterans sometimes. They don't understand where we're coming from with some of our experiences across the globe and whether we're in combat or not. But another veteran relates very quickly. And so that trust can be just so much quicker by interaction. So that's one of the things we see and why we encourage people to become a member of FAVOB, is because you're going to be able to interact with people that right away you can have a relationship with, because you understand where each other's coming from.
Yeah, I call it, we speak the same language. As I've been going around the country, each month I focus in a different area. And when I was in environment, I was learning something new every single day. When I was in healthcare, I was learning something new every day. When I came into military, I breathed a sigh of relief, because I thought, oh, everybody speaks my language. Because I know the acronyms, I know the space, I know the structure, right? The structure is really, really beneficial. How do you see people making the decision maybe a little bit differently than civilians who have not served to go into a business development setting? Are you seeing differences, or is it really pretty much the same?
Well, I think generally it's probably the same in the end. But I guess transitioning military veterans get into the business, and that is that this is my personal opinion, that I think we might roll out as the way we kind of focus things, and it's been reinforced by conversations with other people, but it's tough for somebody to leave the military and be ready to start a business right away, because it takes a lot of sacrifice that they probably aren't prepared to go through yet, and you kind of got to know what else you don't want to do. So I've found plenty of individuals out there who they needed to do something and realized they didn't like doing it, whether it was working for somebody else, surgery, and whether it was a year or 10 years later, and it took them to get to that point where they knew, no, this is the path I need to go on. So I think for FAVOB, what we're going to do is focus more on the veteran population, a little bit less on the transition military population. But with the transition military population, the goal there is to plant the seed. This is an option. You don't have to just go for a government job. You don't just have to go for a corporate America job. This is an option. If you have a passion, that the best way to support that passion is by you creating your own business, then there's resources out there to help you out, and turn to us, and we'll help point you in the direction where those are.
I love that. And I really like your kind of meta message that there are a lot of support groups out there, but what your group does is kind of connect them all, so that you're kind of the one-stop shop, it sounds like. That's something we've been trying to help people understand around the country, that there are so many programs. We're not entirely doing a great job connecting them. How did you all come up with the idea to do this?
So I would just say, first of all, it's my experience 3 years after getting out. That's kind of what's needed. It's also just a reality. So I'll tell you, part of it is, I mentioned Veterans Florida, and the entrepreneur program director for them is Jeremy Sinemaki. And I got a chance to first meet Jeremy last year, and then the last few months we've gotten to know each other better by being in the same locations. And that's he said, look, we're helping people get a business started, but after they start, we're hands off. That's not what our program is. That's where you guys come in. And so I was like, yeah, you're right and stuff. And then so whether you want to start a business or you want to get a job, the amount of there actually, once you start finding out about them, is overwhelming. And a lot of people can get paralyzed or not even know where to start. And there's a lot of people, individual advocates as well as organizations that have been created or are popping up trying to solve this problem, right? The number I've heard is 45,000 or more veteran service organizations
Wow.
that are in America trying to help veterans in various ways. I guarantee you there's a few thousand just in Florida. Some of those are focused on homeless issues. Some of them are focused on no, but there are a lot more in Florida than people realize. There's a lot more in any community than people realize, and so forth. I often, whether it's job seekers or people want to start a business, I've got 6 to 8 lists. Here's the ones you want to focus on, but there's dozens more that I know about or don't know about that are out there. And so I think it's one of those things that's almost impossible for any one organization to get their head wrapped around. But I know people are trying it. In fact, here in Florida, in March, the Florida Department of Veterans Affairs started an initiative called Forward March, and the goal with Forward March is hey, we're doing things on the government side, but we know there's gaps, and we know that there's other private organizations and people doing things to try to fill those gaps. Why don't we create a better network across the state to make sure that all our veterans know where they can turn to for that help, and we as a state know where those support capabilities lie. And so this is I'm not sure what the timeline on this is, but for about the first 4 months, so from March until until this past month, they did 5 or 6 town halls across the state. Danny Burgess, the director, and others got a chance to meet with advocates and so forth. We talked about issues and working groups. We came forward with some proposals and so forth. And the next month or so is supposed to be a report coming out that tells us, well, what's the next step going to be? But I don't know what it's going to be. All I know is that they only probably touched 1 to 2% of what's out there with these first town halls. I know there's a lot more resources out there for them to come across and figure out how do they connect them all together.
Yeah, I mean, that is what we've been finding around the country, not just for vets, but for environmental care, education. There are so many people willing to help and get involved. And I have a personal mantra that I always say, it doesn't take an act of Congress to fix the country. It just takes a set of dedicated Americans to work together. Because we can. We need people like you who understand the coordination process, right? So what are 2 things that you learned from this experience, that people could learn from?
I just came in a little bit broken on that last bit. You were asking about some tools I could recommend?
No, I was saying, what 2 things have the role of the connector others learn from?
All right. Shoot, JJ, you're coming in broken up, but I'm gonna take a swing at what I think you're asking there, because I actually just did a little radio show over the weekend and talked about some of this. So I think it's going to be some of the same things, I hope. So look, I think that whether you're going for a job or starting a business, whatever, there's basically a few different key things that everybody needs. One of those is figure out what your passion is. What is it that drives you, that makes you happy, that gives you fulfillment and so forth. I think that's one of the problems, is that too many of us take something to fulfill the salary needs we figured out we have, or to we think it's something we want to do, but then we realize later on it's not. But if you have the opportunity, primarily the financial opportunity, find out what drives you and then start going after that. Let your passion take you. Everybody needs mentors, and you'll talk to 4-star generals in the military, and they've got mentors. Everybody needs a mentor, and mentoring isn't well enough preached. It is talked about in the military, but it too often relies on somebody having the right staff non-commissioned officer, officer that takes them under the wing. It's not something that most military members pursue to get a mentor that they can have regardless of their chain of command. When you get out in the civilian world, you need to have mentors, preferably more than one. And there are some. There's multiple national resources. The two that I find that are worth always sending people to is one's called American Corporate Partners. If you go to acp-usa.org, it taps you into them. I mean, they were primarily set up for first transition military. The veterans and military spouses can take advantage of it. And you're going to get a mentor assigned to you for a year. And it's really on you how much you engage with that mentor. My mentor, she worked for IPM at the time. She later took off to do her own financial but we talked on the phone almost monthly for 2 years. And she really ended up being more like a coach as I did this shift. I talked to her started about relationship about 6 months before I retired, and then kept going through my first job I had. There's also Veterati.com. And Veterati.com it's a different setup. You can have as many mentors on there as you want, and it's really less mentoring than informational interviews. So Veterati.com, any veteran or spouse can sign up to be mentored, and anybody can sign up to be a mentor themselves. So I've been on there just on the mentor side, and about 60 or so conversations in the last year and a half. But what it does is, as the mentee, you can pick the location, job description, whatever, and find the type of person you're looking for, and then say I want to talk to them, and Veterati will connect you for a 1-hour conversation, and then the relationship can end there, but you can talk again next month and keep on talking over and over again. And you got some people on there like me who are just, we've gone through what you've gone through already, and we want to tell you our own lessons learned and give you some insights. I've got people on there who have started their own business and are focused on that. You've got individuals on there who are like lead vice presidents, like vice president for USAA in the Southeast region, who runs the entire Southeast region of USAA, is on there. You know how hard it is to get her time in a regular business day, but I can get on there and I can get her time through Veterati.com. So it's a really great platform that's offering those kind of resources. So, figure out what your passion is, and then get some mentors in your life.
I love it. That is fantastic. How do you spell?
Shoot, what? I'm sorry, it is a bad connection on our end right now.
It must be. I don't know if it's me or because I fine. But I was asking how you spell the website.
Oh, sure. So Veterati. So V is in Victor, Echo, Tango. I gotta remember all my my letters from the military. Victor, Echo, Tango, Echo, Romeo, Alpha, Tango, India.org. Or I'm sorry, .com. Veterati.com.
Very good. We'll have to add that to this list. Well, given the connection difficulty, we'll go ahead and close out. But thank you so much. This is fantastic, and I just really want to emphasize how important it is to have these connecting units, because we do have so many people that are trying to help our vets, that are trying to help in a variety of areas. And organizations like yours, connected to those organizations you mentioned that get people started, and then yours that helps people continue on that path, that help us optimize all of the pieces that are available.
Absolutely. If there's one message we can leave anybody with today, it's don't think you have to go it alone. Whether you want to start a business, you want to get a new job, you want to get involved in your community, don't try to figure it out on your own. There's somebody out there who's already done it or wants to help you do it. So go find them first and get a little bit of help.
Thank you. That is an amazing